The art of construction has traditionally been an important focus for the architecture process. As time goes by, technical innovation also became an important focus with art, which the architects take for granted nowadays. This building, the Tokyo International Forum, is one of the attempts to merge art and science in architecture at the time of the 90s when it is not be taken for granted. Hello, we are Team 1, and we are your guides to show you the whole things about the Tokyo International Forum with an architecture insight. Before we talk about our construction, let's listen to the words first from Raffaele Vignoli, an architect of this amazing forum. Today we are all under the expanded influence of fantastic image making. There is a lot of vanity associated with architecture in this term, and this is something about which I feel very dubious. Vignoli knew that the aesthetic and self-expression is important in architecture, but he also emphasized that the satisfaction of social requirements should precede it. He designed the Tokyo International Forum with the faith that architects should satisfy the client's requirements, and with the faith that architects should find the mechanism which ensure the proposal can be enriched and transformed into something which has cultural meaning, and which contributes to the sense of permanence and development of the city. Okay then, who was the client of this building and what were the requirements which can enrich the cultural meaning and develop the city? So today, let's look around the background information and the design process, which is followed by the construction. This story will give us the key for the next step discussion, the key for the construction study. The site of the forum, in which there was originally the City Hall of Tokyo Metropolitan Government, was vacated as a part of the master plan which called for the relocating the City Hall to the city's suburb in order to restore civic and cultural functions to the center. So there is a liberated 28,000 square meter site in the heart of the city, an immeasurably huge site for Tokyo. The site of the forum occupies a key position on the boundary between Marunouchi, Tokyo's vital central business area, and the elegant Ginza shopping and entertainment district. The site faces the outer Imperial Palace's gardens to the west and is bounded on the east by the tracks of Japan Railways, the city's principal system of transportation. It is highly consolidated urban setting characterized both by the grid of institutional buildings surrounding the Imperial Gardens and the curvilinear sweep of the railway. 4 subway lines and 2 of the most used train stations, Tokyo and Yarakucho stations, are located to the north and south of the site respectively, generating significant pedestrian traffic in the area. And these site characteristics will be the key point for the design and construction conditions. Okay, it was the background and conditions of the project. So the Tokyo city government made the project requirements based on them. So let's look for it together. Complex was to accommodate dance, musical, and theatrical performances in 4 theaters ranging from 600 to 5,000 seats. Each theater was required to have equal status with regard to the main entrance space of the complex. And a major requirement was a strong north-south pedestrian connection through the site between Tokyo and Yarakucho stations, through which around 7 million people move every day very efficiently. Finally, the brief called for a 4,000 square meter open public plaza. The brief for the forum described an ambition for a unique civic institution intended to serve as the focus of the cultural and business activities in the capital city of Japan. As we said, Vignoli's architectural phase is to satisfy the client's requirements at the same time to place a cultural meaning in a building. So his design ideas also came from them, site analysis and requirement from Tokyo City. The breakthrough idea came when the existing contour of the railway viaduct was flipped over to make an elongated boat-shaped figure at the eastern edge of the site. This made a circulated guideline through the site and created a freely accessible space at the heart of the ground level plan that is both linear and central, the main civic space of the scheme. The scheme has four major components: the protective perimeter wall, the theaters, the glass hall, and the plaza. The plan of the building is a response to the two adjacent urban geometries: the gridded commercial blocks of the business district to the west and the railway, and more informal character of the Ginza shopping district to the east. The building was designed primarily through a series of working models, done at many scales ranging from 1 to 500 site models, to full-scale mock-ups of connection details. The final model of the whole building is nearly 7.5 meters long and includes every detail of the lighting system, the air conditioning system, the final form of the structure, and else.
So, here is the real building of what he had designed. Let's see the whole space program of it and get some insights about architectural or construction study. The four theaters are placed along the western edge of the site, with their flight towers contained in a thin slab building which faces the downtown grid. While all are derived from the same three-dimensional 9-meter model, the theaters diminish in size as the site narrows to the south. Let's get inside. First, Hall A is a 5,000-seat theater which is intended to be used for events ranging from kabuki theater to rock concerts. The whole building was built on an incredibly fast program of 48 months from beginning to end. So, an important consideration in the development of the detail of the Hall A was the fact that we had to build the theater in the factory and bring it to site practically complete because there was no time in the construction program to build scaffolding inside the space. The design of the ceiling is predicated on its ability to be prefabricated and spliced together with the superstructure. This entailed careful coordination of air conditioning systems with sound and lighting systems, all of which were installed in the prefabricated ceiling panels in the factory before the steel superstructure was completed. Hall B is a flexible space for 3,000 people, which is used primarily as an annual convention hall. The ceiling is divided into 65 movable panels, which are moved with the aid of a small motor linked by computer to the panels. The hall can be divided into smaller spaces by shoji screens. Hall C is a musical hall with 1,500 seats, so it had to be a resonant, reverberant interior. Because this is a performing arts center surrounded by train and subway lines, the whole building is acoustically isolated on elaborate foundations consisting of two walls around the entire perimeter of the site, which are separated by vibration isolating pads. Another proven strategy which he adopted is derived from the typical box of the traditional 18th century concert hall, in which balconies produced multiple reflections of the early signal to the audience in the center of the hall. Balconies work incredibly well acoustically as well as structurally. Instead of balconies, it has computer-controlled towers along the walls of the hall. The computer can change the angles and reflectivity of the wood cladding on the towers, which has been designed to enhance the pattern of acoustic reflections. About the acoustics of these theater halls, we will treat them on week 10. To the east, the lens-shaped glass hall is held by a curved slab shielding the complex from the railway. The most dramatic space of the complex is a 60-meter-high transparent enclosure of steel and glass in the architectural tradition of the great 19th century civic spaces. The glass hall is essentially about light and transparency. The structure of the glass hall is very simple. Having often said that architecture is the art of dealing with heaviness, the glass hall is intended to challenge gravity, to be a display of lightness. Two monumental columns have articulated pin connections at both top and bottom. The shape of the columns is a result of the moment of inertia of the horizontal structure. A single roof truss spans 230 meters between the two columns. The boat shape of the truss enables it to accommodate the maximum width of the space at the center and the minimum width at the end. The profile of the truss is derived from its stress diagram. The structure is basically a compression ring and two parabolic beams which are attached to the capitals at the tops of the columns. It is designed to reflect the nature of the forces of compression, tension, and shear. Compression, of course, is taken by the parabolic arches. Tension is dealt with by the longitudinal cables, and the ribs of the truss connect tension and compression members and deal with shear. The ribs are thin at the center of the span where shear is minimal, and thick at the ends where shear is greatest. The wall of the glass hull is a system of cable-stayed trusses, which also emphasize lightness and transparency. This tension structure is hung from the roof truss and anchored to the plaza slab. About a detailed structural analysis of the roof truss and glass hull, we will show you on week 9. The plaza is both a space of transit and a destination, both the space between the theaters and the glass hull. It is a generous open-air plaza, a lavish display of Japan's scarcest thing, the space. Under the landscape plan of the plaza, a large concourse connects the access from the project to several lines of local and regional rail networks. The circulation space wraps around a large exhibition center and becomes itself the main floor of the glass hall. And we can see the cross-shaped columns at the center of the concourse hall. This is an idea of the architect for the parking space underground. The detail of the underground construction will also be treated soon, on week 5 and 6. All functions of the building are accessible from the concourse level. The theaters have direct entrances from the street as well as from the concourse below, so that they can be used independently or altogether. The conference rooms are connected to the theaters through a network of bridges across these voids, creating totally flexibility of usage among the various components of the complex. A zigzag ramp of the glass hall from the plaza to the top of the building gives an overlook the city and Tokyo Bay. The ramp along the length of the glass hall, which carries visitors up to the roof, is intersected by several bridges which work essentially as horizontal struts to resist the wind pressure on the walls of the glass hall, and it also works for connecting spaces. Now, we just overlooked this incredible landmark of Tokyo with an insight of the architect. We got lots of hints from this work, so we were able to make our whole semester plan from it. So, let's see.
Fourth week's main topic was architectural design study. It was today's video, and we discussed background and site analysis, design process, space program, and construction issues on it. We can get various study targets about the Tokyo International Forum, so let us tell you the whole semester plan. Fifth week's main topic is background to and foundation work. We will specifically discuss how the discovery of Edo period artifacts affected the construction schedule. Additionally, we will explain how and why the underground reverse construction method was used and why it was suitable for the Tokyo Forum. Sixth week's main topic is underground work. It will explain how subway vibrations were addressed during underground constructions. Seventh week's main topic is underground work 2 and PC Bridge. We will discuss construction issues encountered during underground work, how they were resolved, and how these resolutions affected the construction process of the PC Bridge. Eighth week's main topic is groundwork 1 and pillar. We will explain why the stiffness of the upper and lower concrete sections differed and discuss pillar stiffness and concrete. Ninth week's main topic is glass hull. We deal with the process of construction of the roof and how the truss structure of the walls was designed to withstand wind loads. 10th week's main topic is concert hall acoustic problem solution. Let's discuss the construction process of the concert hall. Faced many challenges due to being surrounded by subway lines and how these challenges were overcome. 11th week's main topic is interior and station bridge. We will talk about the interior design of the building and the connection between the Tokyo subway and the station bridge.